Today on Capital Discourse, look out Manifest Destiny, here comes Manifest Trump. Promises made, promises kept. Maybe. 1 year in, the president holds a marathon press conference as he just meanders from topic to topic. Join us as we break down the facts. Closed for business or open for debate? Is our border truly secure? What's fact? What's fiction? And what's the real story at America's front door? Where's the money? Tariffs, rebate checks, and $1 trillion. Can anyone show us the receipts? Diplomatic miracles or just a tall tale? Are we witnessing a peaceful renaissance? The president touts ending 8 wars ended in 10 months. Can history keep up? Or is this just a tall tale? Trump's gambit around the world. The stakes are rising. From Venezuela to Greenland to Iran. These are the global flashpoints that could reshape our future. Stacking bricks. Can the West keep up? Or is a new world order changing America's game? Or just raising the stakes? Joining us today, Morgan Chase, bringing you the Flashpoint Rundown, your rapid-fire guide to the week's top stories. Dakota and TJ take you to the Aftershock, where the headlines get real, raw, and a little bit wild. From Naptime News in Washington, D.C., the boldest news show in history. This is Capital Discourse.
Hello, I'm Morgan Chase, and this is Flashpoint Rundown, where headlines ignite and spin stops cold. President Trump marks 1 year in office with a press conference meant to showcase his administration's progress. The president rolled out a highlight reel of achievements from economic miracles to diplomatic wins. Truly not sure where to start in on a fact-based analysis. Many claims are, let's say, generously interpreted. Independent data suggests the gap between promise and performance is still under construction. Honestly, this press conference dragged on so long, I'm convinced the staffers were backstage playing rock, paper, scissors to see who had to go out and pull the plug. By the time it ended, I was ready to start a GoFundMe for everyone's lost afternoon. Is America's southern border officially closed or just open for debate? The administration claims illegal crossings are at historic lows and the border is sealed. During the president's press conference, he lauded that the southern border has seen 0 illegal crossings. But is this real? Let's take a look at what the numbers are. In December 2025, Border Patrol apprehended around 6,478 people attempting to cross the southern border illegally, a historic low and a dramatic 95 to 96% drop from previous years. For context, December 2023 saw a record high of nearly 250,000 migrant encounters, the most ever recorded in a single month. January 2024 began to decline from that peak, but still saw well over 100,000 encounters. Fast forward to January 2026. Encounters rose to about 156,000, higher than the previous month, but still far below the crisis levels of just 2 years prior. So while 0 crossings is a definite exaggeration, the reality is border activity has plummeted compared to recent history, even as policy debates and humanitarian concerns remain front and center. Meanwhile, who ends up in detention is also shifting. Using information from Track Immigration and Congressional Report in 2025, by late 2025, nearly 3 out of 4 people held by ICE had no criminal convictions on their records, about 48,000 out of 65,000 detainees. Not only do non-criminal detainees now outnumber those with criminal records, but the majority of recent ICE arrests are of individuals with no prior criminal history. This trend highlights the ongoing debate over immigration enforcement priorities and the human impact of current policies. let's get real for a second. While politicians squabble over numbers and border security, here's what's actually happening on the ground. By the end of 2025, ICE was locking up nearly 65,000 people, and about 3 out of 4 of them had never even been convicted of a crime. So congratulations, I guess. If you thought public safety meant detaining the neighbor who's never gotten so much as a parking ticket, mission accomplished. But let's not pretend these are just numbers. Every person in detention is someone's parent, sibling, coworker, or friend. When ICE sweeps through a community and hauls off the folks who fix your roof, teach your kids, or run the local bakery, it's not just vital services that disappear. It's birthday parties with an empty chair, classrooms missing a familiar face, and local businesses scrambling to keep the lights on. The ripple effect? Families shattered, kids left behind, and neighborhoods suddenly quieter in all the wrong ways. And let's talk about what America is supposed to stand for. E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. Lately, it's not out of many, one. It's out of many. Just wait till we disappear a few thousand and call it unity. If the American dream is about building something together, maybe we should stop dismantling the very communities that make that dream possible. But hey, what do I know? I'm just here counting the empty seats at the dinner table because apparently that's national security now. Tariffs, rebate checks, and a headline-grabbing $1 trillion in revenue. The president has touted that his administration has gained $1 trillion in revenue from tariffs his administration imposed in 2025 while the administration continues to promise a financial windfall to Americans in the form of a rebate check for $2,000. However, economists and agencies are still searching for those billions. The numbers sound amazing. If only we could spot them in the budget. However, I'm going to set the record straight for you guys on tariff revenue because there is so much misinformation out there. So in 2024, the United States collected between $79 and $100 billion in tariff revenue. That figure rose in 2025, reaching approximately $200 billion by year's end. If you add it up, since President Trump began his second term, total tariff revenue comes to about $300 billion. Despite claims of a $1 trillion windfall, the actual numbers show that the U.S. has not collected $1 trillion in new tariff revenue. Nowhere close. The facts are clear. Tariff revenue has increased, but the totals remain in the hundreds of billions, not trillions. So maybe that $1 trillion is hiding with the missing final episode of Stranger Things. If you find either, would you let us know? We definitely would like to see both. As for a rebate check, I would definitely say this don't hold your breath. 8 wars ended in 10 months, so this is what diplomacy at light speed, apparently, I guess. The Trump administration has claimed credit for brokering or ending as many as 8 wars around the world. Independent fact checks confirm that while the U.S. has been involved in negotiating temporary ceasefires and de-escalations in places like Israel and Iran, Armenia and Azerbaijan, and even between India and Pakistan, most of these agreements are fragile, partial, or short-lived. There is no major, lasting peace treaties have been signed, and in many cases, violence has resumed or underlying conflicts remain unresolved. So while the headlines tout 8 wars ended, the reality is much more complicated. These are often pauses, not permanent solutions. So here's the truth. Peace takes time, and sometimes more than a single press conference. If ending wars was this easy, I'd declare my laundry done and call it a diplomatic triumph too. Venezuela's power shift, the Greenland tug-of-war, and unrest in Iran, each a flashpoint with global major implications. Despite popular perception, Venezuela is not a major producer of fentanyl or other synthetic opioids. Instead, the country has become a significant transit and processing hub for cocaine, with over 200 metric tons estimated to pass through its borders annually. Most of this cocaine originates in Colombia and is repackaged or processed in Venezuela before being shipped to the United States, Europe, and West Africa. While authorities have dismantled dozens of clandestine cocaine labs, The real number is likely much higher, with many operations shielded by corrupt officials and criminal networks. As for fentanyl, the overwhelming majority found in the US is synthesized in Mexico using precursor chemicals from China, not Venezuela. US and international reports confirm that Venezuela's role in the fentanyl trade is minimal. The country's primary involvement in the drug trade remains facilitating the flow of cocaine, not producing or exporting synthetic opioids. Let's talk about what's really driving America's interest in Venezuela and Greenland, and why these resource-rich nations keep landing in the headlines. First up, Venezuela. With the world's largest proven oil reserves and massive deposits of gold, coltan, and other critical minerals, Venezuela is a literal treasure chest for any energy-hungry superpower. Control over Venezuelan oil could help stabilize U.S. energy prices and reduce reliance on rival exporters. And let's not forget coltan. It's essential for electronics and capacitors, making it a hot commodity for America's tech sector, even if it's not the magic ingredient for the memory chips Micron is scrambling to find. Then there's Greenland. As ice melts, this Arctic outpost is revealing a jackpot of rare earth elements, key to everything from electric vehicles to advanced semiconductors. With China currently dominating the rare earths market, securing Greenland's untapped deposits could give the U.S. a serious edge in the next tech race. Add in potential oil, gas, and hydropower, and you can see why Washington's been eyeing Greenland like it's the last piece of unclaimed real estate on the monopoly board. So what's the common thread? The U.S. stands to gain big from cheaper energy, a more secure tech supply chain, and a strategic leg up on global rivals. But that benefactor role comes with baggage. The pursuit of these resources isn't just about economic gain. It's a driving force behind diplomatic pressure, military posturing, and, yes, even conflict. When the world's superpowers see treasure, the stakes and the tensions only get higher. So let's not sugarcoat this. The Trump administration's obsession with Venezuela and Greenland isn't just about waving the flag or spreading democracy. It's about grabbing the world's juiciest resources before someone else does. Oil, gold, rare earths, you name it. If it powers our cars, charges our phones, or keeps our tech factories humming, we want it. And suddenly, helping these countries sounds a lot like shopping with someone else's credit card. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The U.S. isn't playing Monopoly alone. Every move in Venezuela or Greenland risks blowing up in our faces, not just diplomatically, but across the entire global order. You think NATO's rock solid? Try explaining to our European allies why we're muscling in on Greenland, which Denmark considers family, or why we're playing regime change roulette in Venezuela, a move that makes even the UN squirm and puts us at odds with long-standing partners. And let's talk about society. These aren't just resource zones, they're people's homes. When superpowers treat nations like prize boxes, the ripple effects hit real families and communities, not just stock portfolios. The cost? Fractured alliances, a world order on edge, and the kind of global trust you can't just buy back with oil or rare earths. So sure, America could cash in big, if you're willing to gamble the stability of NATO, the credibility of the UN, and the fabric of entire societies. But if history's taught us anything, it's that when the world's strongest kid grabs all the toys, nobody wants to play nice for long. Honestly, if World Crises were a Netflix series, we'd be overdue for a season break. So there is a new global power broker changing America's game. Let's talk about BRICS, the global power bloc that's suddenly everywhere in the headlines. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. 5 massive economies that together make up about 40% of the world's population and a huge share of global GDP. Originally formed to boost trade and economic cooperation among emerging markets, BRICS has grown into a direct challenger to Western-led institutions like the G7, IMF, and World Bank. Why is BRICS making waves now? For starters, the group is talking expansion, inviting new members like Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and Egypt to join its ranks. They're also working on a new reserve currency, aiming to break the US dollar's monopoly on international trade. Add to that their own development bank, which offers loans to countries without the usual political strings, and you've got a recipe for a whole new world order. This isn't just economic posturing. If BRICS pulls this off, it could upend how money moves around the globe, weaken US influence, and force the West to share power with a much broader club. It means new alliances, new rules, and a lot more competition on the world stage. So why does BRICS matter? Because it's not just a club, it's a movement to rewrite the rules of global power. And if you're used to the US and its allies calling the shots, you'd better get used to a lot more voices at the table. I mean, I know it's a lot, almost way too much, but it's important to know these headlines aren't just noise, but real people that are living through the fallout, with families separated, communities shaken, and ordinary folks left picking up the pieces while world powers play chess with their homelands. The stress, the loss, the uncertainty, it's all too real. And now, as the US eyes Greenland's resources, we're not just butting heads with local leaders, but with France, the UK, and a chorus of other nations who see their own interests and their own pride on the line. The idea of liberating Greenland or swooping in as a benevolent benefactor, let's be blunt, that is a fantasy that dissolves the moment you realize the world isn't buying it. As our oldest allies are drawing lines in the ice and the illusion of a clean, uncontested win is melting faster than the glaciers. The more we push, the more fractured those alliances become and the lonelier we risk becoming on the world stage. But even as the powerful posture and alliances strain, here's what history teaches us. Communities that refuse to bow, who hold together, who keep their dignity, who look out for one another, are the ones who endure. Tyranny, whether it comes from abroad or from the ambitions of our own leaders, cannot erase the bonds of neighbors, the strength of local voices, or the will of people determined to be more than pawns. So in the face of stress, disillusion, and the noise of global power games, remember, solidarity is our shield. Community is our answer. Let us not bow to anyone's fantasy of control, not a foreign power, not our own. Out of many, we are one, especially when we stand up, stand together, and refuse to let anyone else write our story for us. Stay strong, stay united, and let's remind the world what real community looks like, no matter how cold the wind blows. I'm Morgan Chase, and that's Flashpoint Rundown. Now let's toss it over to Dakota and TJ for the aftershock, where the headlines hit back.
Welcome in, everybody, to Capital Discourse. It's January 20th, and we're going to go right into our conversation here. As we have seen in our last episode, there's so much going on, and we're really kind of stepping up our coverage to you guys. We're really kind of trying to get more information out, whether that be in audio recorded spaces or in these conversation sets that we have here. And so today I've got joined with me is TJ. TJ, how's it going today?
Good to see you again.
Good. So yeah, we've got so much going on. I mean, the world, I feel like, just kind of blew up after January 3rd, 2026. We just threw the bingo card right out the window. We're like, yep, whatever. Let's do this. And we started in Venezuela. We started and then it seemed like a cascading of issues all the way around. But one of the biggest things that I think that we've seen that has been the least talked about is the BRICS nations. And for those who don't understand what BRICS is the alliance of countries that have come together. And essentially what they've said is that we're not going to use the United States as a principal aggregate of our funding sources anymore. So it used to be that the United States, all money would funnel through the banks of the United States, whether it would come from the Cayman Islands, somewhere along the line, it would hit a bank in the United States and get pushed out. And this is how, um, our government was able to enforce these economic penalties upon countries. This is how they were able to really get someone to stop because they would hurt them in the wallet itself. And essentially, a lot of these countries now that are part of BRICS, and some of the big ones are China and Russia. So your the people you would think that would be are there. Your North Koreans and a lot of the African nations are moving towards this. They're saying that, hey, listen, we're not going to run our money through the United States anymore. And they can't freeze our money when they do something they don't like. We do something they don't like. And so I think that this is a big discussion that is not being had globally, that really needs to be discussed. And I'm not the foremost expert on all of the pieces of BRICS, but I'm going to bring the best information. But based off of that, TJ, where do you think? You know,
Uh,
it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I mean, my head's kind of stuck on the hypothetical point of it. I mean, where does that put the American dollar? I mean, for us that love to travel to other countries, we're looking like we're millionaires in these other countries. But now the U.S. dollars is going to look like pennies to them, and it's going to be
And
quite.
that's shown that too. It's shown a weakening dollar. We've had a progressively weakening dollar, but these BRICS nations have helped accelerate that in a way that I've never seen before. We always have the ups and downs, and everybody has their ups and downs. The euro has its ups, the euro has its downs. BRICS has its ups, and everybody else has. But now with this, that it really is kind of pushing the U.S. dollar down faster. And really, we haven't seen too much response from Donald Trump, the president, you know, on this situation. And I suspect part of what is his response is him going after these cash reserves of raw material resources, within Venezuela and Greenland.
Right.
But again, is that the way that this needs to happen? That's the discussion that we're not having here. Where are you at? Where do you think?
I mean, my head can only go back to what he said before. I mean, he said certain parts of urban cities look like third world countries. Is that where we're headed? Honestly, is America going to be now considered the third world country that we looked at other people like? Like, are we going to be needing help from other countries now, or is Make America Great Again the ultimate slogan that's going to end it all for us?
I fear that is one of the rhetoric slogans that are going to bring upon a time of which we're already seeing that time. We're already seeing the struggle that comes from that. But I feel that slogan is in itself bringing upon hard times within America. But that all being said, with someone years ago while I was in college, mentioned to me and said, "Listen, America is a baby, you know, compared to the rest of the globe.
Mm.
We're and 250 years this year. This is the 250-year anniversary, and couple of things that can be said about that, but back to the America's baby is a lot of the countries that exist today have been around for twice as long, and they have seen the ups and they have seen the downs and they have seen uh, all of the things that really would bring tests of iron to a country and its might. But that being said, this is America's real first endurance test. We've seen the revolution, we've seen, strife shortly therefore afterwards. Um, but here we are, 250. This is our first endurance test. Can we last? Can we endure? I suspect that we can, but what we look like on the other side is my concern. But again, with that, America expands and then America contracts. And I do believe that, we've been sitting at this level of a superpower for quite some time now. And now we're kind of getting to this point to where we may not be the top in the global stage. And I hope that that's not true. I truly hope that that's not true. But, I really think that we're at a point to where this may be a situation where we're not the top at the global stage. That we are, at best a third or a fourth, and that's fine. But again, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that we're still babies in the world, you know, and we're going to see a lot of new things that will happen here. But again, that's what I have in that regard. But TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I also heard that same saying where we are the babies. But I'm thinking this is a reawakening for us. I mean, uh, on the bright side of things, Donald Trump might look good in some stances, but I think he has definitely opened up all Americans' eyes to just how much power we actually have, rather than the power that we display.
Yeah, but I also want to state too, and when you said there, Donald Trump has brought some good. I think that the difference that we're seeing with Donald Trump this time versus Donald Trump 1.0 versus Donald Trump 2.0, because that's, I think, how everybody's labeling this as 1.0 and the 2.0 version. The 2.0 is a lot more organized and it knows how to get through the the bureaucracy that 1.0 could not figure out.
Mm.
I think that 2.0 has people that are willing to just go ahead and bend all of the rules, where 1.0 had more cautious individuals, people that were more traditionalists. And we're now seeing a 2.0 Donald Trump with a 2.0 staff that are not traditionalists move into a situation now where they're going to push every boundary. Um, and they're going to do it unapologetically. They're going to do it with extreme um, push and malice, and quite honestly, at times ire. Um, and that's not necessarily what we need to see as a country.
Mm.
And there are times where we do need that wake up call. I think we're getting it now, but what the end result is what really concerns me. But again, this is Donald Trump 1.0, Donald Trump 2.0. We're in a situation right now where anything goes, and literally anything is going. Yeah, we've got Venezuela, you've got Greenland. I think for the first time ever, in my life, and I think in probably the lives of a lot of other elderly individuals, that we are possibly going to go to war with the UK. I mean, the last time with the UK and with France, and people say, well, no, it's Greenland, it's Denmark. The UK and France have sent troops to support Greenland. They've sent troops there.
That's their cousin.
The special forces arrived last night. They
Mm.
arrived there last night. I know you're laughing over there, Gina, but they arrived last night on Sunday night. Special forces from the UK, special forces from Denmark, and special forces from France all arrived in Greenland to help
Mm.
fortify. They've got ships, and people are actually like putting out there on TikTok. They're saying that, hey, yeah, there are planes just landing left and right here. They're fortifying this island. They believe truly that America is coming. And they're going to come and declare a fight, and they want to be ready for it. And I'm frightened by that. I mean, really, the last time we really have gone to war with the French is the French and Indian War. This was during the formulation of the country. I don't know, TJ. You can kind of jump in on this one at any point here, because
I mean,
I just think it's bizarre.
honestly, I'd never even thought about Greenland as being like a place that we needed. Like, I always knew that it was way too cold. I knew that there was really not many resources there for us. So it's like at this point, is this just land we need? Like, are we going real estate
I
there?
I could tell you what the true interest here, though, the true interest of what he wants. It's it's the rare earth materials that are there. There's a large cache of rare earth materials, and you've got a large cap of untouched land
Mm,
that that exists there. And so, in his eyes, he wants that raw material, and that goes back to the BRICS conversation. He wants that material. He wants that material because it will help bolster. There's a chip shortage right now. Micron got on this morning, Monday morning here, and said, "Hey, listen, we've got chips that are just not. We've got a demand, and we don't have enough chips to send out to everybody. So prices are going to go up, and we're looking at the next year, at the very least, and probably the next two, before we can even really effectively get to the supply and demand problem. Um, you know, so that's one thing really that is honestly just kind of disturbing and frightening, because the demand is the drive for this. And so when that demand is up there, and you've got people that are willing to just go ahead and take whatever they think they can take, we're in a situation where, what do you do? I don't know. But again, yeah, TJ, that's, I think, really honestly the reason why we're heading there. There could be some global real estate demand in his eyes too. I mean, this guy's nuts.
I mean, those resources, I understand they're the rare resources, but then it's like, where do we go next after this? You know, we get those rare resources. What do we go to Antarctica for their rare resources also? Like, I'm just not understanding why are we trying to eliminate the trade value that we have. I mean, I think it brings so much unity to just the world in general. I mean, after we fight France, who do we have? We have Russia that we're going to fight also. I mean, where do we go from this? Honestly.
I mean, Russia sounds like the hot next. I mean, really. I mean, if you look at it, we woke up January 3rd, and I was up editing stuff, and we were sending stuff out and getting that stuff out to our aggregate distributor, and I get the text across the wires that says that Donald Trump has captured Nicolas Maduro, and I was like, oh, that's got to be a fake one. Like, whatever. I ignored it for 30 minutes later, and I'm starting to get it from all of the other, sources: AP, Al Jazeera, and Reuters, and they're in France. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, we really went in the middle of the night, kidnapped a dude. Like, dude was in his like, he wasn't wearing any clothes, because
Yeah.
they had him. They put him in a tracksuit that definitely came from a U.S. Navy service person, because like that thing is sold online, and so he wasn't wearing anything. So they were like, sailor, come here,
Oh,
ensign.
someone's
I'm
fleet.
gonna need you to take your clothes at that bunk over there. We're gonna put this on this man real quick. We'll make sure the government cuts you a check. Uncle Sam thanks you, but homeboy is naked, and we need to clothe him. That's how rash this craziness was. So they threw his ass in a helicopter. They flew him out to a ship waiting nearby. And then what? Where do we go from there? We wake up in the morning. We're like, what's next?
Mark
We're
Rubio's
like,
president.
what's next? What do you do? What do you do here? Like, I mean, really, like,
I mean, I think we pretty much left the Venezuelans out to dry right now. I mean, they
I
have
mean,
who running their country.
sure. Oh yeah, I mean, like, legit. Because right now, at this point, like, we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna run the country. It's ours. Like, we came in like the Italian mob and said, this is ours. You're not gonna do anything about it. You're
Mhm.
gonna shut your mouth and sit there and enjoy it. We're gonna go ahead and give you some work by fixing the oil rigs over there. But other than that, you're gonna sit there, and we're gonna take the money as we're gonna
I mean,
really
honestly,
top off the top there.
they're not sitting there quiet. They're probably still partying, still happy that we captured Maduro. But
I mean, they're happy, but at the same time, are they? Because there've been like these protests of like, just to give everybody the timeline here. So when they captured Maduro, they were shocked. They were like, "What the fuck? All right, okay, cool. Maduro's gone. Like, let's party. Like, yay! They took him out. we've got control. All right, this is great. And then from there, what happened next is, the parties started to kind of die down. They're like, wait a minute, we don't have a president, we don't have a leader of the country. Like, what are we doing here? I don't know what we're gonna do. And so now they're like, okay, so who's running the country? And then Donald Trump comes out on the stage and he's like, we're running it, bitches. We're running the country. This is ours now. Like, it came in like this is a gingerification of Venezuela. Like, you got the happy couple, the two ladies with the pit bull moving in, and they're going like, we're running this now, bro. This
I
is
mean,
ours. Like, this block's ours. This country's ours now, and the oil's ours too. This is my cousin Vito, and this is my cousin Nikki, and this is my cousin Tom. Like, we're Tom knows how to do things with the oil. But Vito and Nikki here, they got sent by Phil, and this is what we're doing, okay, and you're gonna like it. This is how it's gonna be, all right. And so we have now accept that fact.
I got to be honest. I consider buying some land. Also, I was like, well, I
I mean,
guess this is where we're going.
I mean, why not at this point? Like, don't worry. It'll be Ireland next. It's okay. Well, they've been selling off little pieces of their land for decades now. You can buy like little pieces of square. Now we're just gonna take it. It's fine.
Yeah, forget about Baltimore. I'm going to Venezuela.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for real though, for real. So now that's where we're at, and now everybody's like, okay, so we've got a vice president who is now being named the leader in place of Maduro. But then they just had an election. Let's not forget the fact that they just had an election. They're like legit, bro. They just had an election.
Yeah, it only lasted 3 months, right?
Yeah. And so like they had a leader that was somebody who was elected. Her name was Machado, and she was ran out of the country.
She's a repeat.
She's in Maine. She's in Maine. They ran her out of the country. She just won the Nobel Peace Prize. And so like when all this happened, everybody thought, okay, we're gonna install Machado back in. That's what's happening. And nope.
You get Rubio.
She just went to the White House and she was like, Donald, here is my Nobel Peace Prize. Please put me back in power. I won the election. He's like, nope.
Well, isn't he one of the reasons she got it?
Yeah. But it's like, nope. Like here you go. If you take this, will you let me have my country? But nope.
No, sorry.
You go back to Maine.
Refunds are not allowed here.
Yeah. So like this is where this is just like day 5, bro. Like this saga is never ending. Like, we could crash out for a hot minute on this shit. Like, no doubt. But in reality, yeah. So we're sitting here. We're waiting for what is next in the turn of our lives here of the Venezuela Chronicles. And so as we move through that, meanwhile we're still a shit show. I mean, let's not forget, guys, we're still a shit show. All right. America has no clue what the fuck we're doing right now, and no one knows what the fuck's going on in America right now, because we got immigration that's standing at every corner, going around, going, "Hey, you're just brown enough. I think that you might need to be deported." And see, you know what? I go outside and I'm like, "Hey, I'm just brown enough. Maybe they're going to come and take me today. Where are you going to take me to? Southeast? Deport me to Southeast from
No, they won't. They still got the National Guard there. They're not allowing that.
And they're gonna report me from Southeast from Maryland. That's what's gonna happen. Let's be real. Like, that's what's gonna happen. They'll be like, we're gonna take you back home. Be like, yeah.
You're gonna take you to the
barracks. Take me back to Barry Farm. That's fine. We're good. We're good. Let's do this. But I mean, really, we're in a frightening state here in the country. With ICE and immigration. This whole push here.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I,
It's
I
scary.
I was only scared to go outside because of the police, but now I'm scared because of police and ICE,
I
also the
mean,
National Guard. So it's like, where do I turn? Where do
I
I?
know. Like who's safe? Like who is safe? Like I never thought I'd live in a world. I never thought I'd live in a world where PG police would actually be the safe option.
Oh, my best friends right now. My best friends right
I
now.
really thought I'd never live in a world where PG police was the safe option. Be like, I've got the military in one corner, I got ICE over in the other corner, I got
Mhm.
DEA and the FBI, and like PG police.
Literally.
Where's PG? Where's PGPD when you need them?
Funny enough, I haven't heard any crimes coming out of PG recently, so I think
I
we're okay.
mean, it's just they've been like, nah, son, like we not doing this
That's
today.
I believe in Westmore. He's got Maryland held down.
I mean, and he's looking like he might try to do a little something more than just Maryland here. So, I think that's going to be a character we're going to have to watch out for. But we got a lot of steps to go to along the way before we even get there. Like, I don't know, figuring out what the hell ICE is actually doing. And Minnesota is really what's in everybody's foreground right now. We've been looking at Portland and we've been looking at things that are going on in Seattle and LA for some time, but Minnesota then takes the spotlight because they're just losing their minds up there. ICE is in places and where I think that they just shouldn't be. They're doing things in ways they shouldn't be doing them. And for everybody that says, well, they shouldn't be in the country illegally, let me be very, very clear. Okay. ICE's mission is to help in the deportation of illegal immigrants. And you're 100% correct. However, its primary mission in the beginning of this was truly in an escort procedure. They were escorting these captives, the detainees that were going from one spot to another in ICE custody, immigration custody. They weren't in the apprehension business. That was still to the trained law enforcement that has gone through the enhanced training to deal with the situations that are. So if you have a possible detainee who has a lot of weapons, you send the ATF. This is what they're specialized in. If you need to have a complex operation, the FBI takes charge. This is what they're good at. If you have a situation where, this is just a low-level gangbanger, you call the local PD and the sheriffs and the state police, and they come in and they help and assist in that apprehension. The problem that I have, the big problem that I have at this point is that they are not trained. And this is not only bad for both the citizens of each and every one of these states that they're in, it's also bad for the other law enforcement agencies that need to rely on them out in the open. They need to rely on that training because when you're in a foxhole with somebody, you want to make sure that they know all of the things that they need to know to keep you safe so that you can go home. Because not every one of these incidents that have happened is directly all 100% the fault of the ICE agents. It is not directly 100% the fault of the law enforcement on the ground. There is blame to be laid at the individuals that are there, but the problem is that the officers that are enforcing this have either an axe to grind because they are just fresh recruits, or B, that they are not fully trained in the situations that they're doing. We constantly hear of them saying, well, this guy is a 30-year veteran. What about the 20 guys standing behind him that are inciting this? You can have a captain on the field and still have a very inexperienced crew. And that inexperienced crew can foul things up very quickly. And the captain can't do a lot to contain that situation. And that's what we've got. ICE agents, newly recruited ICE agents, are getting 47 days of training. That's right.
I'm surprised you heard 47.
7 days of training. 47.
I'm
I
surprised.
wonder where you heard the 47 from. Wonder where the 47 came from. 47 days of training. I mean, like really though, TJ. 47 days of training. 47. Like,
47's enough, I guess.
I guess 47 is enough. I don't know where I've heard the number 47 before, but I
You know,
mean,
I actually heard a journalist that got in under 6 minutes. That
I mean, yeah, but I mean, they're getting 47 days of training once they get in. They get them in through the door. They're slapping a gun to them after 47 days. I think that you could actually not. I think I know if you work at Barney Fife County out in the middle of nowhere, you're going to get more than 47 days of training. You're going to get more investigative work than these guys are getting before we're slapping a gun out to them and putting them out in the middle of some of the most complex cities in the nation and saying, go do a job. You know, how is that safe? I think that that's the thing that we're not having the discussion about. We're not having the discussions that need to be had. How is any of this safe? How are we turning out all of these people to go out? How is this safe? They're not being trained. 47 days is not enough time.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry. It's just not. I don't know. You can jump in on this at any time here, TJ, but 47 days is
yeah,
just not enough time.
I would imagine we got a bunch of Kyle Rittenhouses just running around, ready,
We
unlocked and
do.
loaded.
And that's the thing that's been proved, right? Like you got all those Proud Boys. They put a list out of these dudes, like they're out there and they're just patrolling with it. They're like, come on. So we gave them a promotion. They were doing this for free, and now we're paying them on the government dime to go ahead and harass people. So
Oh yeah,
that's what's happening.
and what surprises me is that there's so many black and brown people that are just willing to join. I mean, I thought we were working against them.
But that's the thing. It's just a social construct, right?
Hmm.
We're looking at black and brown to hide the fact that this is all about capitalism, and hide the fact that this is about money. This is about whatever. But you know what? Yeah, there's still a black and brown part of this too, where it's like, but you know, and I hate to draw ties to it, but like we have no choice here at this point. But slavery is the same way, right? When they were capturing slaves in Africa, they were recruiting those who were natives of the area to point out the people so that they can ensure that they didn't get captured themselves. And so, how much of this is that? How much of this is, hey, you caught me, but now you're an agent now, and I'm going to put you in the neighborhood because now you're going to work for me. We'll give you a paycheck, we'll feed you, but you know, you're our bitch now.
I mean,
And
isn't
I
this
think
the
that
same
that's
thing that happened with the kid that came down from the other country and shot up the two National Guards just 2 months ago? We were
I
just giving
mean,
anyone anything.
but and I get what you're saying there. I think that there is a stark difference there, um, and that's only because he was CIA related, and so like you're talking about some rogue pieces that came into play. Um, the debate there is that the Democrats had this open border, like they bring all the guys over, but when you got an asset that to that level, you also don't want that asset to disappear. But what is happening is it driving people to this breaking point in their heads where they can't delineate between appropriate anymore. Sure, I think that that's the case. I don't. I myself and other people can definitely look at that and say that maybe that's the case, but um, I myself don't believe that um, this was a part of like the overall feeling as much as it was of this overarching frustration through the handling of things, through the debathification from the start of that all the way down. And this is where Donald Trump is actually making a lot of his argument for Venezuela and why he's keeping who he's keeping in power. Because he's afraid of debathification. Um, and for those who don't know what debathification is, the Ba'ath Party was in charge in Iraq, and so that party then was pretty much essentially removed because when we took over in Iraq, they decided that they were going to remove anybody that was affiliated with Saddam Hussein, and that was pretty much everybody that worked in the government, all the police as well, and they also had all the guns. And that was the fatal flaw there inside of Iraq, is that once we fired them, they took away their paycheck, and the only people that were willing to feed them was ISIS. And that's how ISIS really kind of grew in recruitment, because we took away the jobs that the people had, and expected them to, you know, flourish, but they didn't. And so then the Ba'ath Party became ISIS. But again, I think that there's a lot of complex onions there that, you know, could be looked at with scholars, and we could have that discussion over time. But, you know, just even looking at where we are right now, it's frightening. It's
I
frightening. I
mean,
mean, yeah.
Minnesota looks like a war zone. I mean, it, we're looking. Everyone else looks at Iran, but let's look at Minnesota. Minnesota is a dead zone right now, where we don't know what's going on inside of Minnesota, and
Mhm.
it's not far from removed from, of course, George Floyd. But even still, just to think about the mass effect it has done on the country, it questions me: is Congress really listening?
So yeah, in in this whole discussion, you know, really one of the biggest things that I think we're really looking at here is Congress and these midterm elections that are coming up. You know, I think that that's going to be our big litmus test inside of the country. It's going to be our biggest, real, most important to show see if this is really and truly what people want, whether or not this is what they want or not what they want, and what these elections look like. You know, we've done so much redistricting inside of this country this last year. We're talking about doing so much more, and my concern is for the people's voices in general. Are they going to be heard? Are they going to be a part of that conversation? And I hope that that's the case. They are heard. They are part of the conversation. They are there. But, you know, Congress is up for reelection, the House and the Senate, and early thoughts are that the House will probably flip, and that the Democrats will not flip the Senate. That's what my thoughts are in the early parts of this at this point. I do believe that there are going to be some moral flips that no one has expected. I think that we have seen a lot of frustration along the lines through ICE, through the handling in Venezuela, through the handling of the economy, because at the end of the day, back when Bill Clinton was elected, that one of their slogans was, "It's about the money, stupid." And at the end of the day, the economy is the economy, and it has not gotten better. You know, affordability, and I know the man hates to hear the word affordability, but affordability is not there. You know, things are more expensive. You worry, he's hyper focused on the cost of milk, when in reality, the cost of everything way up there. You know, and you know, I know that TJ, I'm sure that you do a lot of work over the road, and so do I. You have seen this, and you've experienced this, and depending on the city, it depends on how much you spend.
I mean, I was just in LA at a high school, and they were concerned about their next meal, how their families were going to be filled. I mean, we were talking about mental health, and everyone wanted to focus on poverty, and I think that's the root of the problems for mental health. But obviously, there's a bigger problem there, which is poverty. Why in Los Angeles are we so indulged in poverty right now? And it's like, obviously the government is not doing what they need to do. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, and the government's not there, and they should be. And that's the problem, is that they should be there. You know, but and it is to be said that it's not just the inner cities. It's not just Los Angeles. It's the little towns too. You know, you go to the little towns, and from anywhere from North Dakota down to Texas to Louisiana and up the coast all the way up to New York State, up to New Hampshire, people are hurting. And this hurt is a universal hurt. This is not a blue hurt or a red hurt. This is a universal hurt. We're all feeling the universal pain. Universal pain is that when we're going to the store, we're spending twice the amount that we were a year ago or 2 years ago. Things are becoming more and more expensive, and there is no remedy for that, and it's a problem. I have a problem with that. A person whom is only making X amount of dollars per year can't make it all happen. And they shouldn't have to make decisions on whether or not they're going to get medicine or if they're going to get food. You shouldn't have that. That should never be a decision, to never be a choice of thought that comes across anybody's mind between medicine, food, and rent. It should never be a thing.
Yes, unfortunately, we all did not get $1 million from our fathers. We did not grow up in Mar-a-Lago. We did not, inherit everything that, our president and his sons and all his council have. We know we had a setback. Most people don't have a setback, and they still are seeing the negative effects of this.
And I think too, one of the things is that the argument now is, well, Joe Biden's economy. I'm done hearing Joe Biden's economy. It's a year now. It's Donald Trump's economy now. It is Donald Trump's economy. It is not Joe Biden's economy anymore. And they're going to hold on to this, and every now and then they'll say, well, Barack Obama, and well, this guy and that guy. You are now in charge. You have been in charge for 365 days as of tomorrow. Today, today, the 20th is today. You have been in charge for 365 days. You're the president of the United States. Get it done. Get it done. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. You've got a press secretary that has no other interest except for yelling at people and calling them different fake names through the book, running your communications. You've got a Secretary of State that could barely be the Secretary of Denny's. You've got a Secretary of Defense who looks like the only thing that he is defending is the bar line at the Roll Tide event of the year when they're fighting against, Tuscaloosa. Come on, bro. Really. Come on.
I mean, honestly, I think the president still questions if he's in power.
Well, yeah, because he won twice, and we were like, did this really happen again?
They chose me again.
But the thing is too, it's like these guys are sitting there, they're getting like the buyer's remorse is so bad this year. It's so bad. It's so bad. Everybody's got buyer's remorse off of this thing, especially out there in the Midwest, because they're the ones getting hammered right now hard too. They're coming at them right now in the Midwest. Like, we were first. DC was first. And they worked up way up the Northeast, and then they worked the West Coast. Now they're working in the middle of the country, and that's where he won the election. And quite honestly, I think this is where the battleground is, where he's going to lose the election, because those Midwestern guys, they get cranky a lot longer, and they stay cranky longer, and they become a lot more violent than the rest of us.
Years.
I really hope that everybody needs to keep their cool. Keep your cool out there, guys. But this is not okay. It's not okay, and we're going to start to see the election narrative come into play. One of the big things we saw, and I know we saw it in Virginia, was, gender affirming care, transgender rights, women's rights, and then also, whose bathroom do I belong in? Because that was their favorite go-to of trying to make everybody feel uncomfortable. There's nothing says feeling uncomfortable like changing the sign to a bathroom. And so this is the argument that they have at this point is, you don't belong here, you don't belong there, you don't belong in this sport, you don't belong in that sport. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And it's a narrative changing approach, to distract us from the real things. The real things here are, number one, that they don't know how to communicate to the people. Number two, their leader is on a list, ladies and gentlemen, on a list in which that, let's be real. he's trying to distract us from right now. He's on the list. We know what list he's on. He's on the list. He's on the list. And then, you know, the next narrative is that the Democrats have screwed up so badly that, you know, we are the only ones that can do things. And they've sold it to some people who have lived out in the country for so long that they believe it. They believe it. They believe that, you know, the bathrooms are the issue that they want to crash out on. They believe that the you know, sports should be segregated. You know what? First off, sports in them, and as we know them today, sports, high school sports, what the hell are we doing? First off,
I don't care about you guys.
I mean, like high school sports. Like, I mean, really, what the hell are we doing? Like, I loved football. I played football in high school. You know, I was on the varsity. I did all the things. I was a wide out. Like, yeah. But after I look at what I did in high school and, you know, the punishment I took and how I feel now, bro, really, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we putting kids in this situation where they have to hit somebody so hard that they're on their back? And you know, there's no amount of padding that can help protect for that. So let's really kind of think about that. You know, let's go ahead and make more MMA clubs too.
I'm thinking about, you know, the kids that really join sports to change their world.
Right,
They're change the world from what they're experiencing right now. So,
right. And I mean, like, you know, and there are a lot of positives to sports too. And you're right, they're kids that are joining it that change the world that they're in. But, you know, there's a lot of divisiveness that comes with it too. And one of the big things is that, you know, oh, well, if you're transgender, you can't be a part of this sport and you can't be a part of that sport. What does it matter? Number one, you know, first off, wrestling is not a sport. I'm sorry, full stop, done. It's not a sport. Okay. There it is. Wrestling's not a sport. So sit down. Number two, and let's be absolutely clear. Then the next argument is, well, the locker rooms. Well, guess what? I've gone through a lot of things in my lifetime, and one of the things that I know is that, you know, in the locker room, I don't want to change next to somebody. I'm sorry, I like you, TJ, but, you know, if we're in a locker room, I'm going to need my space. I'm not changing next to you. It's what it is. Yeah. If I'm going to the bathroom, I'm really going to wait until you're done, and that no one else is in there. So we're worried about who's going in the bathroom. I don't want to be next to anybody. Okay. Like really, you want to solve a big problem right here is let's just make single room bathrooms, bro. Single room bathrooms. That's my campaign promise there. Single room bathrooms in all the schools. I'm going to go find Tim Bob, Randy, and a couple of other guys, one probably named Justin and another one named Tim. Another Tim, it will come, and there's gonna be two Tims, two Randys, a Tim Bob, and they're all gonna come and they're gonna do the piping in the schools because they're gonna just make single room bathrooms and we'll be done. Put a door on it. We're already sitting in lines anyway, so like, I mean, like, I don't even know why we build like stalls anymore. Like, really, it's 2026. There's got to be a more efficient way to do this than having to shit next to a person who's like 900 years old going, I don't know what's going on in here. And then you got another guy over there that's going through the Morse code as he sits there as he pees in a stall. Like, I don't need to hear all that while I'm going to the bathroom. I want to just scroll TikTok and leave the fuck alone.
I think it's already that we have the stalls. You know, the stalls are perfect, but let's build thicker walls between them.
I mean, like, screw that. Let's just make it a single-use bathroom, bro. Like, I just want to open the door and go to the bathroom. Like, come on, man. Nobody wants to be next to somebody else. We don't want to see the person coming out of the bathroom. Like, why are we worried about, like, you know, who's in the bathroom? How about we're worried that we're using the bathroom with other people?
You know, it's funny because it's funny that you say that because, you know, in DC nightclubs, there are a lot of single-use bathrooms and we all just share the same sink. So if you guys don't care when you're drunk, why should you care when you're sober?
Facts. I mean, really though, like, but really though, single-use bathrooms. When we're like, oh well, with the lines, there's going to be too many people. Bitch, please. There are already lines at everything anyway. They are the current stadium, the Washington Commanders Stadium, can barely hold water inside of the pipes anyway. So what does it matter? Half the people that are going to these things are holding their use until they have to get home anyway. Ain't nobody going to the bathroom. Ain't nobody wanting to go to the bathroom. We don't want to be next to nobody. We don't want to go next to nobody. Nobody's going to the bathroom. If you're going to the bathroom, it's because it's urgent and you're going home in about 5 minutes afterwards, because let's be real. Let's be fucking real. You're going home 5 minutes afterwards because, yeah.
That one's a doozy.
Yeah, that look on the face when the date comes out and says, "Hey guys, we got to go. We got to go right now. Like we get in the car and go. Like I got enough hold to get me to the car, and then I got enough to get in the house. That's about it.
I mean, and then we're in a decent enough distance from our house, so might as well run home.
Like, those times on the metro where you're like, man, this is my only way back too, man. I mean, let me put the headphones on extra loud so I don't have to think about this. But really, though, like, no one wants to poop next to anybody. No one wants to pee next to anybody. It's got to be even worse for women. It's got to be even worse because, like, I don't even need to know. Like, it's already bad enough that I got to hear, Johnny over there, who's 90 years old, seriously peeing in dots and dashes and yelling "ow" every 15 seconds while I'm trying to take a shit. Because, like, we've all had that one. We've all had that one who's going "ow, ow, ow, oh." Like, come on, bro. Seriously.
Or that cough that you want to clear your throat. No, I don't need that.
My campaign promise is that we're single-use bathrooms. That's it. That's it. We're gonna put a doorknob on all the bathrooms. That's it. Nobody's got to worry about, like, gender in the bathrooms anymore because they're all just a toilet.
And deadbolts, so you don't,
Facts.
No intruders.
Facts. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Like, come on. That's all you got to do. We already do the family rooms anyways. Just make all the other bathrooms family rooms. Like, done. It's over. Like, it's literally over. All you got to do is make everything a family room. You can put the sinks on the outside. Then we know who's washing their hands too.
Look, we can make it fancy. We can make it fancy. We'll put lights at the top, so it's in use or not.
Like, really though. But I mean, in reality, we're going to see a lot of campaign pieces that are going to be pushes here, and don't be distracted from the true problems that are affordability, civil rights, and then also understanding what is right and what we stand for in this country. We are a country of innovators. We're a country of leaders. We're a country of founders. We have come up with some of the most single greatest inventions that still affect us to this day. We have been a part of every modern development, and so as the leaders of the world, we need to remember that. We need to be a part of that. So remember, when you're going to these votes, when you're going to these town halls, when you're going to these rallies, remember that we are the United States. Remember, we're American citizens, and we are and have been the best for some time. We can continue to be the best. We can continue to be the best, and we can be the strongest. But what we need to do is we need to remember what is, and that is the most important piece. Midterms is your voice. It's your voice locally. It is your voice locally. It is your voice locally. Because half of these guys that are in charge right now started at the local level. It is your voice locally to influence and change. And over the next several weeks, we're going to have folks coming in here who are going to tell you about the local level. We're going to tell you about all of that information. But remember, it is your voice locally. is your voice at a very, very local level where you can affect the change and see it in real time. And this is a year where you can see that the local is important. And I want it to really kind of cut across. Everyone needs to be a part of this conversation. You know, and you know, TJ, if you want to add anything to that, you are more than welcome to add something to that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, didn't vote in the first election of Donald Trump's second term, and I think we are all seeing the repercussions of what happens when we don't vote. And I think everyone should take that into the fact that we need to vote in these primaries.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. And so that being said, you know, as the time comes, as the rallies pick up, as the ads pick up, pay attention. Pay attention. Be a part of the conversation. It's important that you're there for it, because we won't endure another round of bullshit like we're seeing right now. We can't. No country can sustain this. So just keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah,
You know,
3 more years, I might have to move to Bogota or something like that.
I mean, yeah, but you know, that probably gonna be the next banana republic. So we'll probably have to think about that. I was thinking more like, you know, some country out in, you know, the Eastern European area, you know, either that or, you know, go into some place like, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Crete sounds great. Crete sounds great. I'm thinking about Crete. Maybe Crete, maybe Italy. You know, I hear they got $17,000 homes over there. I just got to go over there and fix it up and just be done with it. I'm good with that. Or I could just pay some money and just become a citizen of Ireland. I'm good. I'm good either way. Let's go. Let's go. I'm done. So that being said, guys, it has been great to have you guys here. And over the next several weeks, we will be having some very, very interesting and fun guests inside of the show. And you guys will be able to participate and also ask questions over some time here coming. You know, and we'll be able to answer them to you guys on air, or also inside of our chat spaces. That being said, you know, this is Capital Discourse where, you know, we just bring it to you guys straight, unfiltered, and that's just what we do. You know, we're in a time, guys, and usually I can give you a quippy like little outline, but this is a time, guys. We're in a time, so get ready, and be a part of the conversation, because we're going to be a part of that conversation with you guys. All right, thank you.